The Western Balkans have suffered a series of terrible civil conflicts which led to the disintegration of Yugoslavia, the bombing of Serbia by NATO, and bitter animosity amongst a relatively small number of ethnic groups. Give us some of the examples of the successes your NGO, Centre for Democracy and Reconciliation, in the Southeastern Europe has achieved in the promotion of reconciliation between anemic nations.
First of all, thank you for the opportunity to talk about the Centre for Democracy and Reconciliation in Southeast Europe and its projects. You are right, the Balkans have suffered several conflicts. Actually, we had civil wars which lasted for the whole decades in 1990s. Around 140,000 people died and around 5 million people displaced. We had NATO intervention in 1999, and according to international sources, around 1,000 people died, and according to Serbian sources, this number is from 2,000 to 5,000 people, and of course not to mention the economical damage that the country suffered. As you know, after every war, peace comes, and we wanted so much to contribute to peace. We wanted to contribute to democracy and reconciliation in Western Balkans and in the Southeast Europe, because we indeed believe that the cause of eternally conflicts at the Balkans lies in the lack of democratic tradition and weak democratic institution.
After 50 years of civil conflict, the Colombian society suffers wounds as deep as they were in the Western Balkans. I understand that you had a novel approach to avoiding the old pattern of every group portraying itself as a victim and everybody else as the aggressor. How did you achieve this?
We achieved that through our projects. Our flagship project is a joint history project. This is the common history textbooks for 13 countries from Southeast European countries. And as you may know, these books are in use in Western Balkan countries. What these books make special is the methodology. We promote a multi-perspective approach, and that way we motivate students for critical thinking. You have already said that in the Balkans, and I'm sure not only in the Balkans, everybody thinks that they are right and always someone else is guilty. We want children to show how other perceives us, how our neighbors think about us, about themselves, as well as we know very little about each other, about people who live practically next door. That way, the educational system as it is now, it makes a kind of comfortable zone for the kids and for the young people, and we want to take them out from this, I would say, of course, false comfortable zone, in order to provide them with a more comfortable life. Much more than that, we want to show the context of certain historical event, in order to avoid this national narrative, because you know, in our textbooks you can read about some events which are described like exclusively happened and exclusively they took place in our own country. But if you look a bit broader, you will see that we were just a part of the process, worldwide process.
How important is the present in determining what we believe the past to be? Do we create the past in the present so that we may be able to manipulate the future?
Of course, we at the Centre for Democracy and Reconciliation in Southeast Europe believe in that, otherwise we would have not been working for so long time. But first of all, we have to be patient. You have to know that that is about the process, and process is not an event which take place in certain period of time. Process itself needs time. So my recommendation or my advice would be to be persistent and to be patient.
Do you believe that a truth commission may be able to reorient or change the political trajectory of a country or nation?
I like you play on these words. I will say something which is more or less a common sense. We know past does not exist. We live in the present, and we have to do our best in order to provide an excellent present so we can have a nice future.
How do you think education and media can help break the mold of hostilities, which are partly the result of media and political propaganda?
I think that education and media are most important because, you know, they affect mostly the younger generation, and educational systems as such is a very rigid system, and to make differences and to make changes in educational system in every country is very difficult. And then media comes, they are usually in hands of governments, but let us be honest, there is no objective media. Every media has its own owner. What I do not like when we speak about Western Balkan countries is, I would say, a lack of decent and honest people.
We have invited you to participate at our Cartagena conference on exchanges and experiences in post-conflict countries in the Southern Hemisphere. What lessons learned would you recommend to countries either still in conflict or on the way to reconciliation?
There are many smart people and open-minded people out there from different fields, and I think we should work with them. We should gather them to work together, we or you or everybody, and just to be patient, because don't forget, we are talking about a process. Things cannot change that fast, but good news is that things can and must change.